we're going to put a fabric frame around the Snowplace Like Home punch needle kit. I've tested this method out on both an 8-inch and a 10-inch punch needle. This is the bonus punch needle that came with the Spring 2025 Bella box. And this is the Hugs and Kisses punch needle. I'll put all the product information below. We're going to go over 2 different ways to attach your fabric to your frame. The first thing you need to do is download your punch needle border templates from Kimberbell. I'll have this linked in the description box below the video. You want to check the printout. Make sure this 1 inch is 1 inch square. You'll also need some double-sided Bond Pro. This is a Kimberbell product. And of course your completed punch needle. My fabrics all come from the Spotted collection by Zen Chic. The pinks have a number in the selvage. It's the same number, and this greeny blue does not have anything in the selvage. I've had these in my stash for a while. They were part of a fat quarter bundle. I'm going to do a quick walkthrough on how you use your template and what happened when I did both of these. Let's start with the first one that I did, which was the Hugs and Kisses punch needle. This is a 10-inch punch needle, so I needed the 10-inch punch needle border template. I did measure and this came out exactly 1 inch. To do this one, I followed the instructions on Kimberbell's Instagram reel where it showed tracing the border template with marker, and it said to use Sharpie or a marker onto the double-sided Bond Pro. The Sharpie came off on my iron. I don't recommend using a Sharpie or using a marker. When I cut everything out, everything came up a little bit short. I had to put a little cover piece of fabric in all the corners. It was just a little bit of white showing, but everything else seemed to fit just right. It's reaching the edge on the sides here. You can kind of see where I had the little bit of gap. Since I was done with this one, I went ahead and decided to try the 8-inch punch needle. Here's my 8-inch punch needle. This one I did not trace with a marker. I'm going to go through that alternate technique with you today. It worked much better for me. This one though as well also came up short with a small gap on all the corners. From far away when they're on display, you're never going to see that. But I want to make sure that next time I do that, this doesn't happen. We're going to address that today. I'm going to show you how to work with the template, a different way of cutting it out, and how to adjust it to make sure that it will fit your punch needle frame. Because if it's short, there's nothing you can do but add extra, but if it's a little bit big, you can always trim. I'm working with the Snowplace Like Home punch needle, and I found this fabric that's a really close match to that color yarn. Make sure you download your template. For the way I'm going to put this together, I need 4 of these, so I've downloaded it 4 times so I can get 4 of these, but you will be able to use them again. I'm going to start by rough cutting out the template. All that means is just cutting off the portion that I need, and I'm working with the 10-inch today. I can save the 8-inch and use them for another project. This is my really dull, I probably need to change it. I use it to cut paper and sticky things rotary cutter. Once you've cut out your template, you can hold it up to your punch needle. The shorter edge will go along the yarn and match that up. And I can already tell my corner is not hitting here. On both sides, it's still coming up a little bit short. So there must be something going on with my printer, even though it looks like the measurements are correct. If you have that problem, I'm going to show you how to adjust for that. Get your 4 border templates and grab your fabric. I'm going to open my fabric. I'll pick the non-selvage edge. There is no information on this selvage, but I know I'll have leftover, so I like it to be kind of neat. I'm going to line up all 4 of these. Now, I'm going to make them a little bit bigger, so I want to make sure I have extra on either side. We'll go ahead and line these up. You need 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to trim out that piece of fabric, but I'm going to add a little bit extra. I'm going to rough cut the piece of fabric I'm going to use. We'll get a better rotary cutter for that. I know this piece of fabric is big enough for all 4 border templates. I'm going to grab my double-sided Bond Pro. I'm going to flip my fabric so I'm looking at the right side of the fabric, and I'm going to roll out. Here's how I'm rolling it out. You can feel it's a little bit textured. We're going to go ahead and roll out that Bond Pro. lay out my fabric right on top, and it does want to roll back. To help keep this from rolling, I'm going to set a jar right there. I have that handy. I'm going to cut a piece the size that I need for my fabric. It's a little bit slippery. I'm going to go ahead and put this here and put this here. This sort of to act as paperweights. I guess a fabric weight. Instructions on how to use Bond Pro are on the back side of the paper that comes wrapped around the tube. If you look at number 3, it says to place the piece of Bond Pro on the wrong side of the fabric with the smooth liner side up. Then put your iron on the wool setting, press directly on the smooth liner side for 8 to 12 seconds and allow it to cool. The papery side is nice and smooth. That's your smooth liner side. The scratchy, it's still shiny like the other side, but you can feel it. It has a texture. That's the side you want to touch, the wrong side of your fabric. Then you're going to take this over to your ironing board and press it. It says 8 to 12 seconds. You just put your iron down and count and go all the way along your piece of fabric. I'm going to take this over to my ironing board and do that. Once this is cool, you can check it. Make sure that looks good. I can tell the paper's coming off and the Bond Pro is sticking to the fabric. We're going to put our templates right on top of this. Now, if you remember, mine came out a little bit short. I'm going to add some space in my template. I'm going to do that just by cutting it. And I'm going to stretch them out a little bit to give me a little bit of extra space. You could enlarge it on your copier. That will enlarge the whole thing, but this will work just fine for me. I'm going to take this and pin it here. And again, if you don't have that problem that I had where I ended up short on the corners, just lay down the whole entire template. I'm going to line this up and I'm going to stretch it. I'm giving myself a little bit of extra space there. You could also lay it down as one piece and then just cut further out. This is going to help me visually since I know it's not going to be big enough. This will work for me. And I like doing this better than doing the tracing. My tracing did not come out good. What I'm going to do is pin all of my templates on here and then cut around the outside. Let me pin these down and then we'll cut them together. I have all of these pinned in place, and again, if this prints correctly for you on your printer, you don't have to add this extra space. This is just because I've done 2 of these and I know for some reason it ends up short. If they're working for you, just put the template down as is. You don't have to do that. To help make sure I'm all lined up, I even put a little piece of paper tape. What I'm going to do is separate all the pieces and then trim around all of the templates. I've got my 4 templates. Now I'm going to trim right around the outside lines. I'm going to use a rotary cutter and a ruler. You could do this with scissors. I don't tend to cut very straight with scissors, so I'm going to continue using the ruler and the rotary cutter. I have all 4 of my templates ready to go. My little mini iron is heating up. I'm going to take out the pins and remove the template. Again, I can save this. I can put it in a little bag or put it with all my Kimberbell patterns and use it again. These are all ready to go. They've got the paper on one side and your fabric on the other. I'm going to do the sides first and then the top and the bottom last. That way, if they did end up too long, the top and the bottom will overlap. These look just about right to me. I think that's going to look great. Go ahead and peel off the paper side like that. And it doesn't really feel sticky, but you can definitely tell the Bond Pro is there. Lay the short side against your punch needle. Something that I did when I did the other 2 that I really liked doing was just touching the middle part really quick. That kind of holds it down. Make sure it's straight. Make any adjustments. Then I'm going to touch the end piece here and make sure that looks good. And then I'm going to do this piece right here. I'm going to double check, make sure everything looks like it's in place. It is. I'm going to do the 8 to 12 seconds along this part on the front, and then we'll fold it and we'll do the side. I gave this a minute to cool so I don't burn my fingers when I pick it up. You're going to want to fold that over the side of your frame and then press your iron and do the same thing. Go all the way down the frame. That looks good. I can see mine sticks out a little further, but that's because I made my pieces longer because I didn't want to end up with them ending here, which is what happened last time. We'll address this as we do the top and the bottom. I'm going to do the next side the same way, and then we'll go to the top and the bottom and we'll address that extra piece of fabric. I have both my side pieces on. When I did the other two, the fabric ended before the corner. If that happened to you, you can cut an extra little piece of fabric and put it down now before you put your top and your bottom pieces on. Let's go ahead and do the bottom piece, and then I'm going to address the little bit of extra fabric. I'm going to check and make sure this piece will be long enough. It is. It looks good. What I'm going to do with this little piece is fold it over and press it, and then this little bit will get folded over and under when I put that piece of fabric on. You could also trim it off. You can actually fold it like this too if you want. That's probably better. Push in, fold down, kind of like gift wrapping. And I'm going to iron it and not burn my finger. Get my finger out of the way. That holds down that little extra piece. I'm going to do all 4 corners, and then we'll put the bottom piece on. All my corner pieces are folded and pressed. Let's do the bottom piece. Here's my bottom piece. Before I fold it over, I can tell I have a little bit of extra fabric again, which is fine. If I want, I can cut it off because the corner is now completely covered. Or I can just do this and press it and have the fold like I did before. I think I'll trim this little bit of extra off, and it'll give me nice neat corners on the side. My little bit extra is trimmed, and looking at that extra, I can tell if I hadn't enlarged my template in the middle, I would have been short again and would have had to put a little piece of fabric in the gap. I'm glad I enlarged the template. I'm going to fold this and press it down. All I have left is the top piece. I can tell you right now, this looks much better. I don't have to add an extra little piece there. Everything fits. Let's go ahead and add the last piece on top. It turned out great. I just had to add that little extra step, give myself a little bit of extra fabric. If your fabric ends up short and you have to add a little piece, you don't see it when it's on display. I hope you found this video helpful. I'll put the link below for your punch needle fabric frame border template. And again, that little extra step, enlarging the template, was just because I knew it was going to come up short. Yours might print correctly on your printer. You can always print your template, take your piece, cut out the template, and line it up and see. If the edges don't come right to those corners, give yourself a little bit of extra space and it'll come out just fine. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe for more Kimberbell Hoop Studio, and I even have floss tubes where I go over my cross stitch and all the craft projects I'm working on. Those come out about once a month. See you next time.